welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry. That's Bryant beside me. Occupancy down below. Turnsy, what's up? Welcome on in. And we are here to break down some baseball and the NHL playoff game of Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final. Could it be the final game of the Eastern Conference Final, or will the Rangers once again, with their backs up against the wall, fight back? We will have to see. I guess I'll give the show a little bit of a shout out. Best bets in the last 2 days: 9-1, 5-0 the day before yesterday, 4-1 yesterday. So the show is doing pretty good as of late. I'm coming off a monster night of myself last night, hoping to keep it going today, and we will just jump right in here into the first game that I chose. The Texas Rangers plus 135 are in Chicago facing the White Sox, minus 155, a total of 8.5 in this one. Giolito, 4-2 in the year with a 3.54 ERA. I think that's safe to say that's a little bit higher than most people expected. In his last 3 games, he has really good games and wins against Tampa and Boston, a clunker against Toronto, and now he's facing Texas, obviously a step down between those 3 teams. But Martin Perez, what can really be said about him? Other than he's pitched absolutely amazing this year. I think he's going to be a trade piece. There's got to be a lot of teams that are interested in getting a pitcher like him right now, for sure. Maybe the Blue Jays, with Ryu injured for a long time, might give Texas a call. But I'm sure there'll be lots of teams giving Texas a call for Perez. I'm backing Perez once again. He is, if you've taken him on the first 5 money line, every game he started this year, you've not lost once. There have been pushes, obviously, but you haven't lost at all in any start. I got it Texas first 5 money line for plus 125. It's kind of an auto bet right now. He hasn't lost sometimes there's been pushes, but most of the time there's wins. And yes, I guess Giolito might be considered the better pitcher here, but on the stats this year, Martin Perez, I'll take him first 5 money line. Give me a lead or a tie game there after 5. I also want to talk anybody off the Texas first 5 plus a half, which I do have in one of my parlays. And I will put my parlays in the scroller below, just down there in a little bit. Bryant, Rangers and White Sox, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite plays of the day. I got a couple angles that I looked at as I was kind of going through this. But this is what I kind of came to here. The White Sox, since last year, have been really good against lefties. And while they don't have their full complement of players, Eloy Jimenez and Tim Anderson are both not playing. They're starting to show signs of life as a ball club, despite the fact that whatever happened in that day game against the Dodgers with La Russa walking Trey Turner, all that stuff. I think that they're starting to compete a little bit more. And with that being said, this year they still hit lefties pretty well. Not as good as they were last year, but they still hit them pretty well. But Perez's splits and stuff like that are just too good to ignore. I just can't get myself up to bet against him right now. And so because of that, it's the Rangers F5 plus a half for me. I got it at minus 125 on my book. That's one play. Second, I've got the Rangers White Sox under 4 at minus 110. Chicago's weather looks kind of horrible for baseball, given it's June. across the United States. I think they said it was like basically only like 65. There may be the chance for some rain, overcast. Um, with that being said, I think it's a perfect spot for one pitcher that we know for the most part has been a pretty good pitcher, and we got Martin Perez who's pitching his tail off this year, and I think that he gets it done. I think both of them will sit there and toss some gems the first 5 innings and keep the score under 4. I definitely think this is a game where maybe like a 1 or 2 solo home runs get hit, if that, um, in that first 5. But I think ultimately this should be a fairly easy sweat free F5 under. And I wouldn't talk anyone off of the Rangers F5 money line at plus 110. I think if you're going to back Perez, you obviously assume that he's going to pitch 5 innings of no run ball. And you would then assume that, okay, given his numbers, Giolito and how Giolito's looked over the last couple of starts, I think he's given up a total of like 11 runs. He's going to give up a few, and the Rangers are swinging the bats a little bit better. So that's more of a lean than anything. But my two officials are that F5 plus a half at minus 125, and the Rangers White Sox under 4 at minus 110. Yeah.
All right. Occupancy, Rangers and White Sox. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Rangers and White Sox. This line opened up minus 145. So we see a little movement there. With regards to a side, I'm looking towards Texas. I haven't bet it yet, but I was trying to dig into the totals a little bit, and feels like the books are baiting everyone with a plus 100 for 8.5. I'm seeing in my book. It's a risky game to go for that over 8.5. But I looked at Giolito's last 2 starts. Both ended 5-6 and 6-5. Regardless of how the pitchers end up, if I could get positioned with a plus money bet in the first 5, and then I just have that 8.5 kind of sitting in the back, and then I'd be looking to live bet team totals. I saw the Texas opened up at 3.5 minus 117, and to me, if I could get that down to a 3, I think Texas can chip away 3 runs in this game, and then either get a win or a push. So those are a couple angles I'm looking at for this one.
All right. We'll move into the second game that I chose here. The Blue Jays minus 245 are in Detroit plus 205. A total of 8.5 in this one. Sometimes people will look at a price like this and say there's nothing you can do here with the Blue Jays. You can't really back them at a good price. But I have 2 plus money plays that I have on this game. Toronto team total over 5.5 at plus 115. I'm going right back to that today. Yes, the pitcher today, Brisky, I believe is how it's pronounced. He is better than Hernandez yesterday. Gosman is coming off what he said is his worst start of the season. He went 3.2 innings, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So he did give up a lot of hits against Minnesota. Only ended up having 3 earned runs. What perfect team to bounce back against than this depleted Tigers team who is so injury filled. And the Blue Jays are just rolling right now. So not only am I taking the over 5.5 team total for the Blue Jays, I'm also taking the Blue Jays minus 2.5 on the run super run line at plus 110. I think you could even go a couple steps further than that. If you saw yesterday's show, I parlayed the Jays with the over 6.5, 7.5, and 8.5. Both obviously 3 different parlays. I'm not so confident in the over today because I do feel like I do feel like Gosman's going to bounce back today after his last start. Also, a note, Moreno is making his debut for the Blue Jays, their top prospect, top catching prospect. So that's obviously going to bring some more excitement to the dugout. And I'm pretty sure Gosman has already been talking about wanting to give him some good memories as his first start catching. I think this is going to be a blowout game for the Blue Jays, kind of like yesterday. Really sweeping the Tigers is, I don't want to say expected, but anything less than sweeping the Tigers in this 3-game series will be a disappointment. This is a team that they should completely dominate as they have, and I believe they will continue to do it in this one. Also, Toronto money line, I have quite a few parlays because, as I said, I expect them to thoroughly win this game. Bryant, Blue Jays and Tigers, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I agree that the last couple of sentences of what you just said very much are something that I wanted to reiterate. I think that the Jays absolutely have to win this series when they're chasing the Rays and the Yanks and the division and playoffs. So I expect them to, especially losing the way they did against the Royals in that final game. I expect for them to come out again and put it on the Tigers. Bo Brisky's much better pitcher than Rodriguez, I think. Whoever pitched yesterday for the Tigers. I feel sorry for the kid because he's spent the last 2 Friday nights getting absolutely lit up by the Yankees and the Jays. Just not a fun time at all.
19 earned runs in 2 games.
In 2 games, man, on Friday nights, no less. That's just a very bad vibe right there. But anyway, I like the Blue Jays here. I took them -2.5 yesterday. And the only reason I did is because I saw his name and I was like, oh, that's the kid the Yankees batted around last week. And so I saw what Toronto had been doing over the past week hitting wise. And I knew regardless of the fact that Berrios was on the mound, it didn't matter. They were going to get the runs to eclipse whatever runs Berrios may have given up. He pitched damn good, all things considered. So yeah, I'm going to go back to the -2.5. I'm also going to hop on the F5 -1 at -125. That is one play that I'm really excited about. And then my last play in this game, I wanted to get on the team total, but I decided to disperse to distribute some units elsewhere and not concentrate them all in a game. In one specific game like this. But one last play that I like this Kevin Gausman 5 or more strikeouts and the Blue Jays to win at -130. I got it on my book. I think that's smooth. The Tigers, they have a very high strikeout rate as a team. They don't have a lot of guys that are high contact. They're kind of boom or bust for the most part. And that's saying something because they don't hit enough home runs to even be considered boom. A lot of them, it's just, they get their offense how they get their offense, but they don't have a lot of guys that are hitting for average, and they don't have a lot of high contact guys, especially a lineup with Javi Baez. He's good enough for possibly 3 of those strikeouts himself. So, legitimately, he'll chase anything. And that's just kind of what you expect with Javi Baez. So he could give us 3 alone, and then you just got to hope Gausman uses that splitter. It's biting like it normally is, or should be, I should say, and get you 3 more. And I do believe the Blue Jays win. That's kind of more of a foregone conclusion to me in this instance. You never know, but I do expect them to win. So at -130, I think that was worth a unit. And yeah, those are my plays.
Awesome. And I'm really glad that you brought up Berrios. I've stuck by him so many times this year, and his last 2 starts, I know it's only 2 starts, lots more baseball to go, but he's really looked like himself the last 2 starts.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that he keeps that going because obviously signed a 5-year extension, $20 million a year. He really needs to perform like he did the last 2 games. So hopefully he keeps it going. Hopefully the Jays bats keep going today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is also on top of that, he has to perform because you have Gausman and then that's it. right? Like in terms of guys you can you trust on a given night. Like,
Well, Manoah.
oh well, yeah, I completely
Yeah.
forgot about Manoah.
Yeah.
Yes, but
But
you
other
need,
than that, yeah,
yeah,
Manoah,
you need
Gosman, and then
three
you need
guys.
Barrios.
You need three starters in the playoffs. Like it's just you got to, and like you said, you committed $20 million, so you better get
Per
out
year.
and do your job.
Occupancy, Blue Jays and Tigers. Have you been cashing the Blue Jays lately?
Yeah. I have. Aside from that Kansas City blowout in the day game, I've been had -1.5 yesterday. Throughout the week, I was also on Blue Jays, but no, I caught Bo Brisky as well in May. Just watching a game, and I saw him on the bump, and was just taking note, kind of like how he's good. I mean, he could be good, but these overs seem to cash with him. I mean, his last three, only one's hit over, whereas in Gosman's last three, it's actually went over every time on the 8.5. So the +100 for the 8.5, I would wait because the line opened up at an 8 and then it was bet up. So if you think Gosman's going to go out and throw gems, then obviously the score is not going to get run up early, and you could probably still get an over. But worst case scenario, like a low scoring win for the Blue Jays. But honestly, like it feels like that kind of grind out, like 4-1 game, 6-1 game, 8-1. It kind of just works like they just kind of keep getting runs, kind of how they do. Um, and then listen, as Terry was saying before, Gosman is trying to bounce back, so maybe he's not throwing a complete game scoreless. I mean, like get a couple runs maybe. But yeah, I'd be just watching this game and trying to get at least 8 runs, hopefully 10 plus, and then have a slip, a ticket that cashes at the end of this one. That's where I'm looking.
Awesome. We'll move on to the next game here. Kind of an interesting pick for me in this one. I'm trying something that I haven't tried for in a while. The Cubs +195 are in New York, facing the Yankees -235. A total of 9 in this one. I got burnt doing this before, but I'm going to try to fade the Yankees once again. I'm doing it in the first 5. I have the Cubs first 5 +1.5 at -130. I think that after last night's game, I think this is a good spot for a close first 5. I think it's going to be tied. That's my prediction here. So to get +1.5 at -130, I think is a good price. I like what I've seen from Swarmer. Obviously, he hasn't pitched a lot. He's 2 games. Went 6 innings in both. Gave up 1 earned run in both games. 7 hits in the 12 innings. 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. Both games at home, though, against St. Louis and Milwaukee. Now he's on the road here in New York, which is going to definitely be a step up in class and a bigger test for him. But I think he can keep the game close, and I think the Cubs can be tied or maybe even possibly winning after 5 innings. And then I expect the Yankees to come storming back as they have as of late later on. So this may actually be a good live betting spot if I'm right. And the Cubs happen to be leading after 5. You can probably get the Yankees at a good price. But I'm expecting a close game in this one. Bryant, Cubs and Yankees, what do you think about this game?
I was chuckling inside while you were saying that. I'm gonna poke holes in that, and respectfully disagree across a lot of those things. Swarmer he's pitched against a couple of teams, you know. However, and this is my biggest reason why I couldn't get behind that. He's coming to Yankee Stadium for his first road start ever, and he has never faced Stanton. He hasn't faced Judge. These guys are hitting the ball pretty well, all things considered. I think that the Yankees absolutely get on top of this kid, like lightning fast. Not because the kid's not talented. I actually saw his last start against the Cardinals, I believe. Um, he's got some good stuff. I just think that it's a situation where the Yankees know that the Cubs bullpen is taxed. They used a lot of guys last night, as the Yankees did. However, the Yankees have a lot more faith in Jordan Montgomery to go 6 or 7 innings than I would assume that the Cubs do in a rookie to go 6 or 7 innings on the road in New York. So because of that, I do think there is value. I think just simply off of monetary value and the fact that you get plus that you get basically 2-run cushion in Yankee Stadium. I think that's good with only 5 innings, really. And the Yankees are notorious so far this year for like you said, being close through the first 5, and then all of a sudden in the 7th inning, they'll drop 6 on your head, and you're like, what just happened? There is value there, but I ultimately don't think that the Cubs give them enough offense to keep this close. If this was maybe a better offense, I would probably agree. But I like the Yanks to get to them. So I've got them on the run line. That's the full game run line at minus 115. And I've also got the Yankees team total at over 5 for the minus 120 for the full game. But also I didn't write it down, I guess. But for the first 5, I've got the Yankees team total over 2.5 at minus 135. Those are my plays. I like them to get to them. Weather, as far as I know, is pretty solid in the Bronx. I think the kid gets a very rude welcome to the big league moment here, and yeah.
All right, a little bit of disagreement there. But if you've seen the bottom scroller, all my parlays for today, you will notice that the Cubs are not in any of them. This isn't a slam dunk hammer it spot for me with the Cubs. This is just let's see if it's close after 5 and backing Swarmer here. But
I also would add, if you like the Yankees over 5, and let's assume, like I said, the kid gets rocked, Cubs bullpen is taxed. This is kind of a sneaky over spot, to be honest with you. But the Cubs bullpen is taxed. The Yankees bullpen is taxed. I think we see runs, personally. For me, I'm going to look to the Yankees because I just trust their offense more. And, well, obviously. But I think if you like the over 5 at minus 120, over 5.5, you get plus 110. You might as well at that point. Ladder it.
wouldn't it be better to go the full game over 9 at plus 100?
I think
Because
so.
Cubs
Yeah.
bullpen is
Yeah.
taxed
Yeah. No, I think this is a very good over
and
spot because,
Yankees score
again,
late.
Monty is not the type of guy. He just doesn't. He's not the type of guy that's going to throw 7 innings and no run ball. That's just not him. He'll give up a couple, but again, I said this plenty of times on this show. He will do enough to keep the Yankees in the game. It will never get out of hand per se, and so he's good for 2 or 3 runs to start anyway. So really, if we get the Yanks 5 runs and then we get the Cubs to give up 3, and then we get the bullpens get in this game, we can cash it over 9. So I mean, I think that's a good spot. It's a lean right now, but I would not talk a single person off of it. They were like, "Well, I want to just look for runs." I think it's a good spot for it, considering they pitched 13 innings last night as a team.
All right. Occupancy, Cubs and Yankees. What do you think on this one?
Yeah, a lot of good stuff said by both you two. Presenting the sides and when I went to look at the lines opening up, I saw the minus 1.5 start at minus 120 for the NYY side. I think if we're putting money down today, I want to be on that side. But a couple other angles that I'm looking at, I haven't bet it yet. But Rizzo is playing against his old team. And he didn't get a hit yesterday. So I kind of think that's like a birthday kind of thing. So I would treat it like that. here. If you were really like trying to get on something, I'd look at for him to get a hit and then the Yankees to win. I'd be looking at Yankees money line in parlays. I had that in a parlay yesterday, but I also had the -1.5 in a parlay yesterday that didn't cash. So I was, there's no crying in baseball, but still pissed because it's the Yankees. But weather in this game, I'm seeing 8 mile per hour winds right to left, 73 degrees, 0% chance of rain. It's a game that I really agree with Bryant. I think Swarmer is going to do Swarmer things, and Yankees will show the lineup in depth and contracts and getting their bullpen in, and Chicago's bullpen was used up a little bit, and I don't know. It just seems to me like a Yankee spot, but I haven't bet it yet. But I'll be looking towards that -1.5 for the full game.
All right. And the fourth game I chose is actually the second of a double header. In this one, the Rockies +195 are in San Diego facing the Padres -235, a total of 7.5. We'll go here to the comments. Yankee game ended right before this podcast. Might be tired for later. Yankees roll today. Yeah, we'll see. Not a team that I want to fade really in the Yankees. However, their series against the Blue Jays here is coming and not too long. And I think me and Brian will be going against each other in that one probably, but we'll get to that at another day. And this one here, obviously, I have not bet it yet. I've not bet it yet because I'm just waiting to make sure on pitchers. Obviously, this game, most of my analysis here is dependent on both of the pitchers that are projected to pitch. Freeland for Colorado against Mackenzie Gore for the Padres. Both teams are good against lefties. However, I really like this Padres team this year. I really like Mackenzie Gore as well. Kyle Freeland on the other side here. Okay, in 2 of his starts against Atlanta and Pittsburgh, he gave up 1 run. But in the game in Washington, he gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs and 4 walks. So that was not a good game. And now he has to face a Padres team that can smash lefties. Even against a pitcher yesterday in Chad Kuhl, where I was pretty confident in my first 5 under. That that came crashing down and lost because the Padres were even able to hit Chad Kuhl, who's been really good this year. And now they get to face Freeland. This is, in my opinion, a home run spot for the Padres here. I will be on their first 5 run line, and I'll be on the full game run line. I'm just waiting a little bit to make sure that both these pitchers are pitching and kind of see probably how game 1 goes before I decide how much I'm going to put on it. But I'm going to be on both those plays as long as the pitchers stay as is. If for some reason Freeland doesn't pitch and somebody else does, I'll still back the Padres as long as it's Mackenzie Gore on the mound for this one. And then, as you can see, I do have them in my big 6-game parlay down there for plus 1218, the Padres game 2 money line. Bryant, Rockies and Padres game 2. Any thoughts on this one?
I don't have anything actually in this game. I am very much possibly going to be out tonight. Maybe consuming some sort of alcoholic beverage. So I just decided not to even cap this game. So I have picks in game 1. But my just personal thoughts, I do believe this is a perfect spot for the Padres here. So regardless of what happens in that game 1, I think this is the one that they are expecting to win more so than anything. Gore's been really good. Looks like they have another good pitching piece right there, which is good because now that's less of a chance that they have to go out and get someone at the trade deadline. And I like him here. Freeland, as you mentioned, he's a lefty. His none of his splits look good. He's got an ERA over 5. His WHIP is like 1.59, which is ugh. I think that's only like the second or third worst out of some of the other guys like that are pitching today. And we've got Patrick Corbin and Braxton Garrett. So that should tell you the kind of company that Freeland's in that regard. He doesn't strike out guys, and he has a walks per 9 of 3.58, and his Sierra is at a big red flag of like 5.06. So there's really no reason to be confident in the Rockies here in this spot. Like you say, it's Gore. I would go F5, and I would probably go full game if I was going to bet in this. I may, now that we've talked about this, I may like mix this in, depending on how the day goes. If I'm feeling froggy, I may add it into like a later parlay just as a parlay piece. But yeah, it's just the Padres here. I don't really think you should overthink this. Anyone, find a good Padres angle that you like the most, whether it's a team total or just a side, and I think that they'll come through for you.
All right, I like it. Occupancy, Rockies Padres game 2. Any thoughts on this one?
The way I want to approach the Padres today, something that was said earlier in the show about teams separating. Colorado started pretty well this year, and they're just rolling into different level organizations, I think, and they're still good, and they put up a fight in SF. So I don't expect them to get swept. I think they could steal one, but I think it's gotta happen with runs. So I think I'm gonna bet both games over, and have a parlay, like a same game parlay with San Diego money line and the over. Just trying to figure out if that's gonna be game 1 or game 2 for me, because they got the hook with the 7 on this one, and then the other game I think I was looking at is an 8 or 8.5. So they're expecting more runs in the first, but either way, I'm putting that together now. Like I could try to tweet out like any cards or anything. I usually just do that right before opening pitch, or do a bunch of in-game stuff. So I'll try to do that. But no, I mean for this game, I'm still setting it up. But I really want to honestly just bet San Diego and over both games. But maybe honestly just the over in both games as well, just in case Colorado steals one.
All right. We'll go to the comment here. What's a good 2-teamer for the early games? Well, there's one right there, St. Louis Philly money line. It's all depending on what you like. What I'm going to do for last pitch, since all my single bets have actually gone over and all my parlays have been scrolling down below, I'll just give a quick reason why I'm not touching the other games. Let me bring up everything here. I'll quickly zoom through these games if they go up here. For the early games, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, I just don't really have much of an opinion. Chichi Gonzalez, I expect him to get lit up by the Rays. Shane Baz was really good last year. I don't really want to fade him, but he is coming off an injury, and the Twins lineup has been hitting as of late. So ultimately is a pass for me in that one. Reds and Cardinals, as you can see down below, I do have the Cardinals money line in my parlay. I do think they get the win here, but I'm not overly confident in taking them on the run line or anything. I could see this being a close one, but I would put St. Louis money line in parlays. D-backs and Phillies, Bumgarner against Wheeler. This Phillies team right now, zero chance I'm getting in front of them. Philly first 5 money line, great parlay piece. Philly first full game money line. I've been betting Philly full game, and it hasn't burnt me yet. So I will continue on with that. Brewers and Nationals, Lauer against Corbin. This should be a huge Brewers smash spot. This is a game they have to break their losing streak with this. With Lauer against Corbin. Will they? We'll see. I do have Milwaukee first 5 in a parlay, Milwaukee money line in a parlay. I do think they break the streak here. They have to. It's Corbin. Royals KC, no opinion. Move on. Oakland and Cleveland, no opinion. Move on. Colorado San Diego game 1. I would have taken San Diego with the pitcher with Clevenger yesterday. Martinez, I'm not so confident in. We went over Blue Jays, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Lean to the over, but I haven't got to anything in that. Miami, Houston. Houston, obviously, with the pitching advantage. This Miami team is hot, though, right now. So I don't want to take them with Garrett on the mound, but I wouldn't be surprised if they upset again. Dodgers, San Francisco. Kershaw on the mound. Dodgers needing a bounce back. Dodgers money line, a great parlay piece. We went over the Yankees game. Mets and Angels. Carrasco against Lorenzen. Yes, the Angels broke their losing streak, but they immediately lost the next game. I think the Mets get to them here. As you can see in my parlays, I have Mets money line and parlays. And Boston and Seattle, no official opinion for me in that one. That was my run through for last pitch for the rest of the games on the board. Bryant, anything else in the world of baseball you want to go over?
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to disclaim the Orioles Royals game. You won't hear a peep about it for me for this game and tomorrow. So don't ask me. I have no opinions. I didn't even click on like the matchup on my book to even look at numbers. I just didn't. That was disgusting. I, for whatever reason, felt froggy and bet the Orioles yesterday, and they got lit up. That's like two bums fighting. It's like, what do you like? There's no. So I'm off that. With that being said, let's get into it. I've got the Cardinals money line in a parlay with the Rays money line, the Yankees money line, and I have the Dodgers money line in a parlay as well. So I've got all of those teams in the little parlay. I like the Cardinals team total over 3.5. Hunter Green, again, he's like the perfect example of why you shouldn't be too high or low on these young pitchers and players in general when they come out of the minors. It's so very evident that he is going to be a very good pitcher in the MLB one day. But he also has struggles because it's just hard to get accustomed to pitching to major league players every 5 days. And for him, his struggles right now on the road. He has a very bad record on the road. I think he's lost like 3 starts, but his ERA is like over 6. His walks go up. His strikeout numbers go down. And guess where he's pitching? He's pitching in Busch, in St. Louis today against the Cards. I like for them to get to him. And if not to him, they're definitely getting to that bullpen, which is why I got the Cardinals team total over 3.5, over 4, over 4.5. And that's at -180, -130, and +100. I need runs, Cards. I need runs. So that's where I'm going to go with it. I do that Cardinals play in a parlay. I have a single bet on the Cardinals F5 at -0.5 for the F5 at -125. I like the offense to negate whatever foolishness may take place with Wainwright in case he has a bad day. Yeah. So and then moving on, Phillies Diamondbacks. A couple of notes here. Zach Wheeler is a wagon at home. His ERA is sub-2. And he's pitched well against the Diamondbacks his whole career. That mixed with the fact that the Phillies have like summoned some sort of godly powers since firing Joe Girardi. They're here. I don't know what they got going on, but it's working. Like Terry said, there's really no reason you should get in front of them when they're playing the Diamondbacks, considering the offensive advantages they have. Even with their bullpen's performed pretty well over the last week too. All of a sudden, I still have made a blood pact that I will not be doing any full games with them. So with that being said, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to go with the Phillies team total over 5. Matt Bum has pitched horribly recently, and the Diamondbacks bullpen sucks as well. Like the Diamondbacks bullpen and the Reds bullpen are like tit for tat in terms of just how atrocious they are. So um, I like the Phillies offense, man. They're humming right now, and kind of like the Yankees and sometimes when the Dodgers and like the Jays and stuff, when they get going, they can go like a week where they could put up 9 runs, 5 games straight, and it would be effortless for them. So that's where I'm gonna toss my coins at. I got the Brewers at 5, and I've got the Brewers money line and some plays. The Brewers F5 run line is at -115. If they can't hit Patrick Corbin, I've got to take a 1-week break from them. I've been backing them still during this losing streak just because I think that the matchups, they look pretty favorable on paper, but they just keep falling short. So this is my final strike with them for a while. If they lose this, and then I got to take a break from them. But I also think there's value in the Nationals team total over 3.5 at -120. I think runs are going to be fairly easy to come by here, so I wouldn't be mad at anyone who's doing that. And my play in this first Rockies Padres game, Feltner stinks. Respectfully, he does. I'm not a big fan of Nick Martinez here. His walk rate is scary as hell. I think it's like walks per 9 is like at 4 points. It's like at 4. That's very scary against a Rockies team that can hit. I don't care where they are, they can still hit. And because of that, I think they're at F5 over 4.5 -110. That's a play. You're just rooting for 2 suspect kind of pitchers to throw some meatballs, and I think that's what's going to happen. And I also, and this is going to be one of my big like chunk plays of the day, I have the Rockies team total in this game over 3, over 3.5, over 4, and over 4.5, and that's at -120, +115, +155, and +185. It's out of the 2 pitchers that the Padres have today, Nick Martinez is definitely the lesser of the 2. He walks guys. He has an ERA coming in at 4.70 against a Rockies team that we know they can thump you if they need to. I think that's just it's a good little play. You're not rooting for them to win the game. You're just rooting for them to get some runs. And these are full game totals here. So you've got an entire 9 innings for them to score 5 runs. That's all we need. 5 runs, and we are up some units. Like, I'm very excited for that, see how that goes. I will be having that like smack on my TV. I've got the Astros run line. Braxton Garrett has an ERA of 10. I don't really need to say any more than that. And Framber Valdez is the Astros' second best starting pitcher. So lastly, I said my Yankees plays. I've got the Dodgers. Their Hall of Famer, Clayton Kershaw, is coming back. I like him on the F5. I'm gonna because I think that's the only basically what we'll get from Kershaw is about 5 innings, work him back into things. So I'm gonna take him on the F5 money or F5 run line, -0.5 at -135. I like that against basically the Giants they're going with the bullpen day to day, and I think that's it. Oh, lastly, I have the Athletics +0.5 F5. Frankie Montas is pitching against Zach Plesac. Montas is the better pitcher. His record sucks. It's like 2-6, but it's not because of him. It's because he'll pitch 6 or 7 innings and give up like 2 runs, and he'll leave, and then his bullpen will just absolutely crap their pants. And he'll walk out, or he'll get lit up, or he won't get lit up. He'll give up maybe 2 runs, and his team will just not score at all. 2 runs is okay for any pitcher. Like you're okay with that if you expect your team to get you 3-4 runs, but they don't. So I like them to keep it close though. Plesac is a pitcher, but mostly this is really just off the strength of Montas keeping things close. I don't even care if the Athletics don't score. I think Frankie can twirl me 5 innings of no run ball, and if he does that, we're good. So those are my plays for today, and that's it.
All right. Before we get to occupancy, there is one more thing I wanted to mention. if you see my parlays in the bottom, some that you probably are thinking that are missing. Yes, I am going to have Toronto player hit parlays. What I'll probably do is take Toronto money line parlayed with a couple players to get a hit, Toronto team total with a couple players to get a hit. And if you want to know which players, any of them. Last night, Matt Chapman was the only player not to get a hit. And going into today's lineup, you have to look at Kirk. He's just smashing the ball right now. But basically, any Blue Jay right now is playing so well that any of them to get a hit. I'll be doing quite a few different ones with multiple players and team totals and stuff. Occupancy, last pitch. What do you think here for the rest of baseball?
Yeah, I'll keep this short. Just listening to actually the post broadcast on Seattle last night, going along back with Brian's thing about these teams separating. Boston just worked Gonzalez. They weren't even swinging. They were just going to make him throw 3 pitches, and he's a guy uncharacteristically had 6 walks. I think that's going to happen for all young pitchers today. So I'm going to go through the slate and find young pitchers and then bet on the other team and the other team's team totals today. I think it's just something that's happening in the league right now. Like starting at the bottom and working back up for last pitch. Like I think I'm going to take Boston for plus money tonight. I know Kirby, they're high on up there, and he's showing promise, but I just think Boston's been around the block a couple more times, so I'm gonna go with them there. Nothing in the Mets Angels right now. Looking to bet Mets money line as much as I can. They battled against LA. They took one against San Diego before the injuries, and then last night, obviously, I bet a team total live, but that fucked up and parlayed with St. Louis full game over fucking 3.5, and that couldn't hit. Dude, like what? I hit the Mets leg like right away. Like great, it was going sick. And then Reds leaving bases loaded twice in that game. So jumping back up to the card, St. Louis today for sure. Cincinnati's having a really hard time. That's just like terrible to do that. And like there's I think a different team away. I gotta look at the numbers, but I feel like at home they can kind of beat up on the Diamondbacks when they come into town like game 1, and then do other Reds things. So I'll be looking for St. Louis also in that. With regards to the bum fights, I'll just get those out of the way. I'm gonna back Baltimore again. I bet them the last 2 days and missed, so I think they're due for one. With the
you're ballsy occupancy. You're ballsy.
Kansas City, Perry, Kansas City is the number. If you bet against Kansas City every game this year, you'd be up the most money. They're the worst team on the money line on covers. Kansas City. They've been playing well. Like they kind of had they just sort of hit a good streak, but those numbers don't lie there.
Now you're gonna make me go up here and put like a half unit on this game.
Dude, I mean, listen,
I wish you both luck. I will not be touching it, but I wish you both luck.
Baltimore, bro. Like they
Baltimore's a better team than they were last year. Yes,
100%. They're streaky.
Yeah, they are. They're going in the right direction. They still need pitching, but like offensively, they've got some talent. Like between Mountcastle and Mancini, Mullins, and some of those other guys, Santander, they got some talent. It's just you just don't know what you're gonna get from the pitching, man. Like it's so like hit or miss. Like one day you'll have a guy with like 7 innings, and the next guy will not make it out the first. It's so weird.
Yeah, I know. Just like when you're betting plus money, you only need to hit that like 1 out of 2. So I'm just still working that down the line. I think I agree with betting against Miami today. Houston equals good at baseball, and they didn't play well last night, so I think they're going to bounce back. I kind of want to bet Pittsburgh again. I was on them yesterday, and oh man, I mean they kept it close, like 2-0, 4-0, 4-2. Like it was kind of not like a blowout there. I mean they but that was also with Contreras, which I like betting with him. Thompson, it's kind of like that cousin you see, you're like, oh, cool. Like, you say what up for a little bit, but then you still got to like deal with them. And it's like Thompson, it's kind of how I feel about him. He's not the first person I want to put my money on. Let's just say that, but potentially getting into that over, and then maybe have some Pittsburgh legs and just smaller parlays. But no, and then the rest of the card, it was said earlier about the runs. Yeah, Brian, I think is going on team total for the Colorado. I only looking over with Nick Martinez. Been hearing about him, and he seems to be a good pitcher if you want it over. I don't really like betting against the Guardians. I just think they're a good team, and for playoff preview, I think they're gonna definitely make a run at this. They got a really good lineup. Pitching is questionable, but some of those guys come around. But yeah, with Montas on the mound too, that could be a cool like game you get into like a first 5 under for if you're like looking for some day action and you want to sweat out and under, that could be a cool one. But don't really like to bet against Cleveland at any time. Milwaukee, Washington, gotta go Milwaukee. They're frustrating. It kind of all fell apart at the bottom of the or top of the 8th or 9th in that Philly game the other day. They had that lead, and then they got bombed for 2 runs and lost, and then it's kind of been downhill from there for them. But I think they'll bounce back eventually. Hopefully it's today. We can cash some tickets. And then, yeah, probably not going to be betting that Dodgers game until later. And then nothing really on Arizona, Philly. I kind of have unfortunately, I don't bet Baumgartner games anymore. Kind of learned that the hard way in May. So it's not a big list for what I can't bet, but can't really be betting his starts anymore.
All right. We'll move right on along to the hockey game here. Tampa Bay is headed to, New York Rangers is headed to Tampa Bay, plus 175 for the Rangers, minus 210 for the Lightning, a total of 5.5. My confidence in the Rangers has disappeared. I was really confident in them earlier on in the season, earlier on in the playoffs. But losing the last couple of games, heartbreaking losses that they're losing right at the end of the game. I think Tampa Bay has this in the bag now. I put the poll up earlier. 63.2% say take Tampa and reg or on the puck line. 10.5% say take the Rangers. 26.3% say take the under 5.5. And not one person says take the over in this one. How I'm looking at this, but one thing I do want to mention here on the Rangers defense, in the last 5 games that they could have been eliminated in, they've won all 5 against Pittsburgh and Carolina. So with their backs up against the wall, they have been very good in this playoffs. Will it happen here against the 2-time champs? I don't think so. I do have Tampa Bay money line and a parlay. I have Tampa Bay in regulation for minus 110 and Tampa Bay puck line for plus 140. I think that unfortunately the Rangers are done. If they do happen to squeak by a win here, I'll lose some bets tonight, but my playoff future bets will have a chance to be alive. So if Rangers do get the upset win, I won't be too horribly upset here, but I do think Tampa Bay finishes it tonight. Bryant, Rangers and Lightning. What do you think here?
I'm gonna be honest, man. It's gonna upset some of my friends who are Rangers fans back home in New York. They're cooked. I don't really know how to say it. I think that they're cooked. On the off chance that they win this game, I think that Tampa Bay knows that they can beat them now. So like the allure of going to New York doesn't matter anymore. They've beat them in close games too, which honestly that's more demoralizing than getting like the brakes beat off of you. I'm not going to bet this game tonight just because I feel like this may be like a classic. Oh, okay. All right. The team is surging. They've won 3 straight in this series and they're home and they go there and the Rangers absolutely are, hands on their knees, throwing themselves around and they find a way to win the game. I think if I was to make a play tonight, it was going to be it would be under the under 5.5. But ultimately I'm going to stay away. I'm just going to watch as a neutral. But I ultimately think that it's going to be a close game. So maybe if you toss that +1 and that plus 1.5 in a parlay or something like that, maybe like a same game or something like that, and see what happens. But I have no interest in going towards the sides here. But if I had to pick one, like I said, I would probably pick the Rangers. But I ultimately think it doesn't really matter because the Lightning are winning this series. Vasilevsky's only given up 4 goals in the last 3 games. And, a couple of them were they had to really work for those goals. It wasn't like they were just, cherry picking and it was an easy little, open snipe. They had to work for those 4 at that. So I don't know what happened. The 2-time defending champs just they had a meeting and said, hey, let's not do this right now. And I think that's kind of where the series is headed. And regardless of what happens here, I think the series is over. Whether it ends tonight or whether it goes back to New York, I think the Lightning take it. But like I said, if I'm going to make a lean in this game, it's going to be on the under 5.5. I think it's going to be a very tight game, just because the Rangers are going to give everything they have, especially defensively. Shesterkin's going to knuckle up as well, and it'll keep it close. But as we've seen before, the Lightning are going to find a way to win this game. If they have the ability to find ways to win close games. Yeah.
All right. Occupancy, Rangers and Lightning. I know you've been on the Rangers with me a couple of times in this series. Do you think they have any hope, or are you going to take the Lightning?
I'm gonna do what Vegas was showing up with some numbers. But to talk about hockey, because this is a hockey game first. It was a heartbreak. Anyone watched that game saw some draw tickets being close to cashing. Some Rangers +1.5 tickets close to cashing. And it was actually just a puck that wasn't seen. I mean, when you really look, if you ever, you want to go look back at that game, it was just, you didn't see it. So I think that's the only explanation. I mean, I got to maybe watch the post games, but I don't think he saw it. Cause that goal, like, wasn't even a great, I mean, it was just a shot. Just didn't see it. The stats in that game, I got them up. Tampa had outshot him 27-25. Rangers had 4 more block shots, more penalties and more penalty minutes, more hits. But then Tampa wins with faceoffs won, and power play goals neither, shorthanded goals neither. So, like, kind of a split game. Like I was watching the stats kind of build up last game, and it was pretty even. I mean, it was like a 1-1 game with 4 minutes left. It was a pretty close game. So just taking like a approach from like what Vegas said and all their research and like how they put their time and money into like looking up setting lines. Like they had -115. I think I tweeted this to you, Terry. Like for both the series to go 6 and 7 before the game at my book, I saw -115 for both. So if Vegas is treating this like it's going to be a game 7, I'll put my money there. I get a better price for not betting that this to go 7 and betting the Rangers money line tonight. So in just terms of that and the fans and the chirping and all that, I really could care less about that in this one. I'll be taking the Rangers on the money line.
All right. Even though I'm against you tonight, like I said, if the Rangers win, I'll be kind of happy, even though I'll be losing some bets because I hope to cash on them.
And not everyone's going to be on the same side, and there'd be no lines, right?
Yeah. I feel bad because I backed the Rangers the whole series, and now I'm turning on them. But I hope they prove me
Vasilevsky
wrong.
at home in a closeout game. The stats are unbelievable for him. They were unbelievable for home teams too last game with 8-0. I think for the home teams, that got bucked. I expect the series to get bucked, go 7, and then we'll talk and analyze that one. But I think Rangers are going to win tonight.
Perfect. We'll move on right along on to best bets, and we'll finish off the show. We'll start with dog of the day, as we always do. For me, no dogs today. There's no dogs that I'm on. So no dog today for me. Nick is taking the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Tim is taking the Boston Red Sox. Occupancy, is there a dog that you like today?
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Red Sox as well. Put that in. There you go.
You got it, Bryant. Bryant, is there a dog that you like today?
Yeah. With that thought, where's it at? I just had it. My dog of the day is going to be the Red Sox. As well. I just feel a little bit better about Waka than I do Kirby, and I like Kirby. I've said that before. I bet on him a couple times. I just feel like this is a very tough spot for the kid, more so for the Mariners lineup. Shout out to them though. They cashed my F5.5 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jesse Winker with a 2-run bomb to help me out. But I like Waka here. Although the Red Sox are down a couple guys, I just feel a little bit better about them in this spot. So I'm going to go with the Red Sox here.
All right. Over or under? I'm not on any totals today, so I didn't put one down here for me. Nick is taking Tampa Bay and New York Rangers under 5.5. Nothing from Tim. Occupancy looks like he's typing his in. Bryant, is there a total you like today?
Absolutely. Can I get the Rockies? The Rockies, Padres, F5 over 4.5. That's a wagon right there. Yes, absolutely wagon right there. That might cash in the 2nd inning.
All right. And occupancy, you are going the full game over in game 1.
Yeah, I think we're going to see runs all series in this one.
All right. And then we'll go on to best bets, best parlay pieces. Working myself out of the hole that I worked myself into, and I'm kind of going right back to the same bet I did yesterday. Toronto Blue Jays money line, and I'm taking San Diego game 2 money line, which I was able to find at I believe BetMGM for plus 104. So plus 104 for Toronto and the Padres game 2 money line. Best parlay piece, no big surprise. Yesterday, it was a Jays team total over 3.5. Today, I'm just taking Jays money line as my parlay piece. Nick is taking New York Rangers team total under 0.5 for plus 700. He is trying to take the lead in best bets with one bet. The thing is, sadly for him, he was going to take that exact bet in the last series, in the last Tampa elimination game, but he didn't get it in time, and it was a shutout. So he would have won that huge plus play. So he's going right back to it here, trying to get it today, taking New York Rangers team total under 0.5. His parlay piece, Philadelphia Phillies money line. Tim is parlaying Boston with the Mets for plus 262, and his parlay piece is the Mets plus 1.5. Occupancy, you're going Yankees parlayed with Tampa Bay. That is baseball, Tampa Bay, correct? Yes. Tampa Bay money line, Tampa Bay Rays money line, and St. Louis Cardinals money line for plus 274. And then you're taking Colorado San Diego over 6.5 in game 1. Alternative total. Bryant, what are you thinking here for best bet and best parlay piece?
Yeah. I am right now, I'm going to go with this right here. I've got the over 3 for the Rockies in game 1. And I am going to parlay that with the New York Yankees money line. And that's going to be plus 156. I take that back, not the over 3. We're going to go over 3 and a half at minus 105, and the Yankees parlay piece at or the Yankees money line at minus 225. That's plus 182 for the whole pick in itself. And my parlay piece is going to be the Phillies F5.
Philadelphia Phillies money line, first 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Nick is. I'm gonna send him a message personally because that is a very bold ass pick, and honestly, I'm rooting for him just because how sheer, just how bold it is.
Hey, he's been taking for his best bet.
Yeah, for his best bet.
Hey, he wants to take the lead, and he could have if he had got it in time for the last when Tampa Bay faced. He would have caught it. So, good luck to him. Good luck to everybody. We're currently on a best bet roll, so hopefully to keep that going here. That is the show. Best luck to everybody tonight. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube in the live chat. We'd love to interact with you. If you enjoy the content, smash the like button. We appreciate all the support, and we'll see you again tomorrow, Sunday. We should have a new person joining us as well for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Best luck tonight, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.